this video is a painful one for me. In this one you're going to see me make some stupid mistakes and then make an even stupider mistake by deciding to change my strategy mid-race. Hey guys, and welcome along to another video. If this is your first time here and you are watching all sorts of GT Sport related stuff, subscribe now and click the bell icon so you get notified of every video I upload and you don't miss a thing. You join me in qualifying for the latest Nations Cup race, a qualifying session that I wasn't too happy with, to be honest, but because I timed it up, I managed to cross the line with about 30 seconds left and I got my best time with my final lap. That's why, as I outlined in my previous video, I have a strategy for qualifying, so I recommend that you guys all do the same. So we're going to come down to turn number 1 here. I'm going to take a somewhat cautious approach because I don't want to hit the guy in third up the backside, and it looks like an opportunist is going to take away our 4th place. So we're down to 5th place, but I'm not too worried about it at this point because my strategy is going to be, due to the way that the Nations Cup Championship is structured against the manufacturer's series in regards to tyre wear and fuel, I'm just going to sit behind him and save as much fuel as possible, taking advantage of the slipstream and then hopefully jump some of them in the pits. But that is going to count on me being a consistent driver, which I'm normally quite good at. But coming into turn number 7 here, for the first time I just dropped that rear right hand tyre onto the grass. I almost lose it. I managed to catch it. If you have a look at the little red dot on the top there above the red bar, you will see that it went all the way over. I was on full opposite lock to keep that thing from spinning round. So the damage for us there means we're going to drop out of the slipstream range of the cars in front, and it was at this point when the strategy that I planned and was really comfortable with went completely out the window. Fast forward into lap number 3 now, you can see that the pack's beginning to spread out, so I've lost a bit of time to the front 4 there despite putting in my fastest, well, first 2 sectors of the race so far, and we've also just dropped off the German in 6th slightly, so I'm hoping and I'm pushing to try and catch up to those front 4, but obviously that is eating into my fuel loads quite a lot. But look up ahead here, someone has made a mistake. There's another German here in the Nissan who was running in 2nd place, so we're going to get the run on him coming down the front straight, but this isn't necessarily the best thing. So he was running ahead of us, so he was clearly faster than us, or at least on par with us, but now he's just going to sit behind us as I punch a hole through the air and he has our slipstream. So that's really what I wanted to be doing with somebody else. That's my favourite strategy, to be quite honest. I'm quite a conservative driver, as you guys know, and that has served me well, and it got me all the way to A+. So it's really disappointing that I dropped it on the first corner. I foolishly and inconsiderately put my tyre onto the dirt, almost lost it, and it really kicked us out of kilter for the rest of the race. Rejoining the action here on lap number 5, you can see that the German has just been sitting behind in our slipstream, and I bet he's managed to save quite a lot of fuel in the process. You'll see up ahead here as the guy in 3rd is going to come in and he's got 45% of fuel left, so I'm going to go and check mine, and we're at 46. It's really disappointing because I should have been saving far more if I was sat behind him in his slipstream. It was at this point, as this was going to be my in-lap, that I decided to change strategies and I wasn't going to change my tyres. I was looking at the tyre wear and I thought, you know what, after 6 laps they're looking in okay nick, so I could make up the time that I lost through being overtaken in the first corner, through dropping it coming into turn number 7, and generally not having the benefit of the slipstream, therefore not being able to save enough fuel. And I thought I could make up all that time by not changing my tyres. Well, didn't that turn out to be a poor decision? So as I continue on my way, you can see that people are starting to come in. Now I would have come in as well if I kept my original strategy, but I haven't, and we're going to plough on at this point, and I'm going to keep going until the fuel runs out. So I'm going to go for as long as I can. Because I'm not changing tyres, I don't want to fill up earlier than I need to, because there'll be more weight and it will just increase the tyre wear. Now at this rate it looks like I'm going to come in maybe a couple of laps time, either lap 9 or 10, so I'm going to push on and then come in. We got as far as lap number 9, so as we come into the final sector here, we're going to dive into the pits and we're going to put 3 laps of fuel in, which should get us to the end. But remember, we're not going to change our tyres. Just fuel then for us at the pit stop, and coming out here I suddenly realised that I have fudged up. We're going to come out in 4th here, just in front of the German that we overtook earlier in the race after he sort of half span in sector number 3 on one of the earlier laps. Coming around turn number 3 here, you're just going to see the drive that he gets off the corner coming down into turn number 4 here. I'm going to run wide and I just cannot get the power down. The back end just wants to step out all the time, and that probably doesn't help, as I'm probably cooking the rear tyres even more. Why didn't I change my tyres? I've got no idea why I didn't do that at all. And to be honest, I really regret it. Look how much I just can't hit the apex here, and the German is just scampering off into the distance. So I've learnt a lesson here. I am always gonna change my tyres, because watch this as I come down into turn number 10 here. I just cannot get the thing stopped, and look how much the guy behind here just catches up with us. We can't get the power down either. The wheels are just lighting up. We're not going anywhere, and the person in 6th is all over us. What we're going to have to do now for the next 2 and a tiny bit laps is just try and hold on to this position as people try and pass in mostly ridiculous places like this guy here. So that's going to lose us even more time as we try and hold on to as many places as possible. He's picked himself up a penalty there. We've got 2 more laps. Look how far ahead the German has got in front of us, and our tyres now, although they don't look cooked, they certainly feel cooked. So now, as I've said before in previous videos, and we've seen in previous videos, when you battle with people you just lose time, and that is what I'm going to have to do for the rest of this race. Here comes somebody else up the inside here. I'm going to try and hold on to it as much as possible by going around the outside, but I just cannot get the power down, and we are down into 6th now. Keep an eye on the rear view here. The Brit is just going to chuck it up the inside, but to be fair to him, he is going to give the place back, and he also apologised to me in the lobby afterwards, so no issue with that at all. At this point I'm really pissed off with myself for the decision that I made, which to be honest followed a few silly mistakes, so this race could have been so much better. But I'm going to try and hold on to a top 10 place. There's still over 1,000 points on offer, as I just cannot get this thing stopped at all. If I manage to stay in the top 10, again, you can just see that I just can't get the power down at all, and someone's going to go around the outside of me here. There's that same Brit. I think I tapped him there, giving him a penalty, so apologies for that. But you can just see it. The just car is all over the place, and this is the last time that I do not change tyres. So it's okay to make mistakes with these things, but you've got to learn from them. So I hope that all of you also learn from my mistakes as we come into the final lap here. Looking in the rear view, we're going to have more company very shortly with another German here, but this is going to be the icing on the cake. So coming out of turn number 2 here, we get a slight wriggle on, which is going to ruin our entry speed into turn number 3, and he's just going to get the run on us again. I'll go to the inside to defend, and I just keep an eye on him rather than my braking point. I completely miss it, and in a schoolboy error-esque move I just end up straight in the gravel, and the field just come past. I'm down to 12th now, 13th. Ugh, what an absolute nightmare, and this has all come from me making a silly decision and trying to be too aggressive and not changing my tyres. So now my tyres look absolutely awful. The thing won't turn in and I can't accelerate out. So anything that I can hold on to now is going to be a bonus. We've got a Frenchman behind here who is probably going to come and do us down into the next curve, because I just can't get this thing stopped. There you go, he's up the inside. I try and get the undercut on him, but the tyres, as I say, are cooked. There's just no way of getting this thing moving. They just keep slipping and sliding, and we are down now into 14th. So disappointing considering we started in 4th, but at least I've learned from my mistakes, so I will never ever do this again. And I would implore you all to learn from this video and not make the mistakes I did as we come across the line to take a particularly disappointing 14th place. There's the damage it's done to my DR, and that is the end of the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video more than I did. If you did, please hit the like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks again so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.